Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss the date problem, the date difference problem. And let's go and read this problem. The problem says that there are two parts of it, in which in one part you have to calculate the difference between two given dates, and another part you have to take a date from user and tell what is the day name of that particular date, right? So now for this logic, the idea is that as per the Georgian calendar, the 1 Jan 1990 was a Monday. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a date from user and calculate number of days passed from this particular date, that's 1/1/1990, till that particular current date the user has given, and then we are going to divide that number of days by 7, and if it happens to be a 0, if the remainder is 0, it's a Monday, if remainder is 1, it's a Tuesday, and so on. So this is the logic we are going to work on, right? So the question for this is handle the invalid date inputs with appropriate error message and ensure that the leap years are taken care of. So you have to input the date. Suppose user has input this much. So it gives it's a Wednesday, and then after it, in the second part, it's asking two different date and calculate number of days between that. Okay. So here's the code already coded for me. Then I'll run this and show you the output. So if we go to the main, let's go to the main first. So here's the main, and in the main, we have created a object of the scanner class. This is my first input where I'm setting the first date. Basically, this is the finding the difference between two dates only. Whereas the first date in this case happens to be 1st January 1990. We have to actually tell how many days has passed from that date to the current date given by the user. Okay, so that's why the first date has been set to 01/01 and 1900. Now the second date is given by the user here. So user is giving the date in the string variable date, and since it's giving in the ddmmyy format, the date part of it is this and this, right? So from 01/3 2, sorry, then 3 4, then /5, then 6 7 8 9 10. So the first two entries will be 0th position to 1th position. But the substring function takes 1 before, so I have to do 2. So when I do 0 2, it will actually going to take 0 and 1. Similarly, it's pulling out the date, this is pulling out the month, and this is pulling out the year. Okay. So now, after getting the day, month, and year from the user, I'm passing it to a function, days from the start of the year, right? So days from the start of the year, suppose this is your day 1, date 1. This is your date 2. I can draw it properly. And date 2. Now, first we are going to calculate from the starting of the particular year how many days has passed for the date 1. From the starting of the year, how many date has passed on this for the second year, second date. And then the difference is going to be this much, which is what? This is actually a difference between the total days passed and total days passed here. Okay. So the function which is going to calculate the number of days from the beginning of the year is days from start of the year, and we are passing the first set of date to it, which is this, right? Of course, it's going to give 0, but since I have to use the function, I'm sending it. So let's go to this function and discuss how it works. Now this function, start day of the year, is here. Days from the start of the year, right? It takes a day, a month, and a year. And then first it set the total days variable to 0 because this will be the count, how many days has passed. And then from the 0 till the 1 month less than that, it will run that loop and will calculate how many days has passed, adding the maximum number of days in that particular month. Suppose the date is 12/3 24. So that means for this particular 24 here from the January, beginning of the year, 31st has to be added because January has to be added. Then Feb has to be added completely, which is 28 or 29 depending on the leap year. And then that's it. So that means month, one less than that's month. So that's why this loop is going from 0, 1 less than that month. It's adding the days in month values from the array. Now, what is days in month values? Here you see we have an array. So this particular days in month array is holding the maximum number of days in each month, like 31, 28, 31, 30, and so on, right? This is a non-leap year case. If it happens to be a leap year, we'll just add on one more day to that particular total counting. So the basic logic is that we have to calculate how many days has passed from the beginning of the year till the dates given, till date 1, right? This one. How many days has passed? Suppose now the year are different, right? Year are not same. So this is 2020 here. This is 2021. And the second date given is 2022, which is somewhere here, like say April, 3rd of April, 2022. And we have to find out the days difference. So my function is going to calculate this, that is the number of days passed from the beginning of the year, beginning of that particular year to till that date. So this is called a day 1. And then my function is going to calculate this, the date 2. That is the beginning of the 2022 till that date. Now I cannot say in this case when the year are different that I'll just subtract day 2 and day 1 and I'll get the difference. No. Now since there is one more year or it may be few more years involved in between. So I have to consider these number of years in between also. Okay. So we have also taken care of that. But first, let me explain you this particular array. So as I told you that this array contains the number of days in every month. And here the loop is going from 0 till 1 less than month. So suppose the date is 3/4/2022. So from the beginning of the year, how many days I have to add? 31 for January, 28 for uh, February, 31 for March, and then April I don't have to add because April I'll add these 3 days which has passed in that particular day. So that's why the loop will go from 0 till 3. It won't go till 4. That's the reason this loop is going from 0 till month minus 1. And it's going to add the days of month in I. Value of I is 0, so it will pick the first one. When value of I will become 1, it will pick the second one, third one, and so on. So this function is going to calculate number of days passed from the beginning of the year, right? Now, we also have to check for the leap year case, right? So, if the month is more than 2, leap year effect will come when the month is more than 2. If we are talking about January only, there's no need of considering the leap year. But if the month is more than 2 rather, then we have to consider the leap year. So, if the month is more than 2 and that particular year for which we are talking about is a leap year. So, we have a function is leap year to which I pass the year and then it's going to tell me whether it's a leap year or not. Now, this year is passed from here, goes over to this function. The function is very simple. It has a leap year formula. It just check. This is the exact leap year checking, considering the centuries also. If the year divides by 4 and divides by 100, that is both conditions satisfied. If it divides by 100 and doesn't divide by 100, I'm sorry, and divides by 400, then that is the leap year. So the year which has passed, suppose we are talking 2022, 22 will be passed here. It will say yes or no because this function is going to return true or false. If this full condition happens to be true, it will return true, else it will return false. It will return true or false. And as for that, if it returns true, one more day is added because of the leap year. If it doesn't return true, nothing is added. The difference is same as being calculated earlier. So this particular function is calculating number of days passed from the beginning of the year till that particular date. And now whatever days has been calculated, that is added to the total days, and then that total days is being returned. Now here, let me explain you. Here now, as I was talking about this 3/4/2022, so I have added 31 for the January, 28 for the February, 31 for the March, and then for the April, I still have to add these 3 days of that current month, which is in day, right? Which is in day. So that's why we added the day at the end to the total days calculated and then return the value. Okay. Now I'm saying this is very clear to you. And then, so it returns the date passed from this. Now in this particular example, because we are passing 0 and 0 and 1900, it will give 0 only in this particular case. So this will return a value which will going to be 0 in our case, particular case. Then we send the day to. The day to means the day to which the user has given. And similarly, it calculates the day to. Now, what is the difference between them? If the year happens to be same, that the difference is day 2 minus day 1. So what we are going to do here is we have taken a variable total days between years, which is 0. Now we are considering a case that when year is same. This is not same, but I'll just first go to the else part here. When the years are same, you just have to say the difference between them. Okay. So day 2 minus day 1, and that's the total days between the year. But when the year is not same, as I told you here in this example, where we have to consider the in between 2021 year also, the number of days into that particular year has also to be considered. So now we have to have a function which is going to tell me how many days are there in that particular year, right? So if it happens to be a leap year, it will be 366 days. If it happens to be not a leap year, there will be 365 days, right? So I have one function here, total days in year. So this total days in year, take a year as a parameter, checks if that is a leap year. I already have a function which is checking for the leap year, checks if it is a leap year. If it's a leap year, it returns 366. If it's not a leap year, it returns 365. Okay. So how I'm going to use this here, when the year are not same, so first I have to calculate the days between the two years, right? So what we did, we sent total days in year to the function total days in year. We pass the first year, right? And it has calculated how many days, whether it's 365 or 366, it is returning back. So once it returns back, that will keep on adding to this. Okay, total days in year. And then minus days 1. So what we're going to do, now there can be a case like 2 or 3 more days has passed between the years. Suppose first year is 2020 and another year is 2019. There are so many years passed between them. So that means I have to add 2021 till, but let's take it to 9. 2021 till 2028. All the number of days in those particular year. So what I'm going to do, I have run a loop from I, which is from year 0 plus 1. So I'm not considering that year. I'll consider the next year till less than the final year. I'm not touching 2029. I'm going one beyond. And what I'm doing, I'm sending that value of I, which will be 2021, 22, 23, one by one. All values will be sent to total days in year, and that function is going to, as per checking, after checking that it's a leap year or not, it's going to return 365 or 366. And then those years are getting added into total days between the years. Okay. And then these particular days, I'm going to add the day to, which is the day to? The day to is the current day of the second year. Like here, if I have taken the second date as 3/4/2022, first day was suppose here 12/3/2024, and second date was here it is 3/4/2022. So I have to add this particular day also to that particular year. So for that reason, we have added the day to that year, right? And then after doing that, we just calculate the days difference. So now, what about the day name? Now, how will I calculate the day name? As I told you, the difference, if you divide by 7, the remainder is 0. It's a Monday. If the remainder is 1, it's a Tuesday, and so on. So there's a function called day name, and I have passed the total days between years to that particular function. And this function, what it's going to do is taking that particular difference, that year difference, the variable difference, and just checking it out. If remainder happens to be 0, it's dividing the difference by 7, checks out if remainder equals to 0, and if remainder equals to 0, it says Monday. If remainder equals to 1, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so on. right? So this is the way we calculate the day name of that particular given date. Now the second part of this is that you are giving two dates and you have to find the difference. So almost similar functions. So here now we have taken two dates, one in day one, month one, and year one, day two, month two, and year two. Same way, the same function days from the beginning of the year we have passed first set, second set, it calculates the difference in day one and day two, and then again same way. If the day year is same, it does the same way. So means basically we are using same function two times, one for calculating uh, among the pair of, as per the Georgian's calendar, 0101 1900 was a Monday, and then the user has given date. Suppose user has given this. So one set of my date is this, one set of date is this, where I'm going to calculate. This is not given by us because this is understood, it's by default there. User gives this one and then it divides the difference by 7 and calculates Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In another case, the user gives you two different date. It can be any random date, right? It can be any random date, and then it calculates difference between them and prints it. I'm just going to run it and show you the output. Okay, so here's the same code which I just explained you. I will just run it and show it to you. So I'll just compile, it gives me no error, and I'll go to my BlueJ and run it for you. I think the name was 20 days name difference. Here's that. So I go to the main function and I run it. It asks me a date. Suppose let me give the today's date only 17/11/2024, and it gives me Sunday, right? So today is Sunday only. Now it asks me in the second part, it is asking me two different dates. So let me give 12/03 2020 and another date as say 15/03 2025. Okay, and then it calculates 1829 days between them. So that's it with this question. So I hope you had understood. I'll share this code also in the description if you want to use it. So thank you for giving your time, and I'll see you in the next video with another question. Bye bye. Take care.